first impressions are very good.
Also ich habe auch ganz nette Leute getroffen.
I met a lot of really friendly people. I know what kind of big club Bayern Munich is. And
auf jeden Fall stolz,
I'm very proud,
ganz motiviert,
but also very motivated to start. The season could start today, right away. That sounds good. Your German is really good.
Aber ich kann keine ganze Pressekonferenz auf
But I can hold a complete press conference in German, so we do have interpretation for that. How's the day feeling for you today? The day feels great. We are very happy that Mr. Kompany is here today. And the first impressions yesterday were very positive yesterday. Max Eberl and Christoph Freund worked intensively in the last couple of weeks and months to find this one coach to develop new ideas here for Bayern. And
Vincent Kompany, der eine für alle.
And Vincent Kompany is one for everything. Max, so how do you see this new coach? First of all, I'm very happy that it worked out, because I think from our point of view, we have one of the most interesting coaches here at Bayern. And we all know about his career as a coach, as a player and as a coach. And he's quite a young coach, one can say that. But the talks we had with him were really transparent, very intensive, and we were on the same page right away. We think the same way about the game, about the play, the style of play, and we are really into it. And we are really happy that we find a solution, and that. And I did understand that Burnley didn't want to let him go. So yeah, but we are ready for a new energy, a new way. We can feel that right away. So let's start with the questions. There are a lot of representatives from the news. So let's start.
Hier vorne rechts, ja, Vincent Schirpke für Merkur und TZ, bitte.
Hallo, Herr Kompany. Wie war Ihr Start?
Hello, Mr. Kompany. How was your start in Munich? And you probably have noticed that there have been some other possible coaches in decision-making progress. So how do you see yourself? Plan A, B, or C?
Ich werde erstmal auf Englisch antworten, kann das jetzt? So now, look, I just joined the club. And but I had some time to speak with Max, Christoph, and other people inside the club. So now I'm starting to understand a little bit the recruitment process. And I can only say that the fact that I'm here means they're doing a very good job. That's it.
Dankeschön. Wenn ihr die Fragen auf Deutsch natürlich stellt, bitte ein bisschen langsam sprechen.
If you ask questions in German, please talk slowly.
Für den Bayerischen Rundfunk, für die ARD.
Ja, hallo Vincent, erstmal
Hello,
herzlich willkommen in
Vincent. Welcome to Munich. First important question. Vincent or Vincent?
Also, eigentlich ist mein Name Vincent.
Well, actually it's Vincent, but I played for Hamburg for 2 years, and it never worked out. It's hard to pronounce correctly for the Germans, so Vincent or Vinny, that's fine. Vincent.
Kannst du dieses Mal nicht sagen, also musst du dieses Mal nicht.
You don't have to say Vincent at the moment.
Jetzt aber meine Frage.
So my question now,
welche Art Fußball?
What kind of style of football do you want to play? And what's your type of play when it comes to football?
Wie wollen Sie sicherstellen?
And one question to the CEO, so that there's the steadiness for the next couple of years. What do you want to do, and do everything for that?
I'll go first. So from my side, it's very simple. I think what you coach is something that you have to be able to. One second. The translating is so loud. It's actually putting me off. Sorry. No. So what I was saying is, I think as a coach, you have to coach who you are as a person. And my personality is I grew up on the streets of Brussels. I played football on the streets. I was in the academy of Anderlecht, where from the age of 6 to the age of 20, you have to win everything, you have to be the best team. And so I want the players of Bayern Munich to be brave, really brave on the ball, to have personality on the ball. But also my nature is, I'm also someone that is aggressive. So I want the team to be aggressive. I want the team to represent those two things that would make my character is absolutely brave when they have the ball, when they make a decision, and absolutely aggressive when, something that they carry throughout every minute of the game, always. Thank you.
Ja, und wegen der zweiten Frage.
Oh, second question.
Völlig berechtigte Frage. Verstehe ich.
Obvious question.
Bayern, glaube ich, hat eine relativ hohe Fluktuation.
We did have a high fluctuation when it comes to the position of managers, coaches for the last couple of years. It's not my cup of tea, or that's not my fault, and not my or Mr. Christoph Freund's fault. But we have our idea and how to cope and deal with the coach and to work with the coach. And the coach is important for how the team is playing. But the coach is never alone. The club is behind the coach. The entire board of Bayern Munich is behind him. Bayern Munich, and I said that, and I noticed that in the 7 to 8 weeks, everybody's really interested in what's happening with the club. So this is a chance for us to dial a bit back, to become one team, to be one club who stands behind the coach and to follow him and to support him. Now we have a young player, a coach. I mean, 38 is not that young, but yes. But he has a really great personality, and it had an impact on us. It has impressed us. We only can be successful when we stand together. That's our goal, and it's also a chance for us. And all the searching for a new coach, we'll have to stop that right now. We'll stand together now. We'll be successful together. There will be some not so good situations, but we'll stand together and we'll stick together and we'll support him. And hopefully we're going to work together for a long time. I'd like to add something here. Of course, we did have a longer process over the last couple of weeks, but the most important thing is now that the decision is came together. Like we all made this decision. One for all for one. If we all stand behind the coach, he doesn't have 20 years of experience. That's obvious. That's the best start you can have as a club, as a coach.
Wechseln wir die Seiten. Christian Falk für die Sportbild, bitte.
Willkommen, Vincent.
Welcome, Vincent.
Ist bereits in der Bayern-Kabine angekommen. Die Spieler haben mit Interesse deine Rede.
The players have listened to your first talk and your reaction in the Burnley dressing room. Do you think the players will get to know you that way as well? Or is your style a bit different?
No, I think, you know, the main thing is I've lived at this level for most of my career. I've been in these dressing rooms for most of my career. So I think everything you say, everything you do, you always adapt it to the people you're talking to, always. There's some things where, you know, you're protecting a culture, you know, hard work. I think it needs to be a common understanding for everyone. I don't think you would want me to say, hey, well done if they don't work hard. Keine chance. So
no
in
chance.
that sense, on the basics, I think we all agree how we want to approach a season, how we want to approach our jobs. And those are the moments where I think I'm allowed sometimes to say what everybody thinks. But in the main, you always adapt to the people and the cultures and the individuals that you have in the dressing room. And I've known this at every level of football.
Eins dahinter dann Nicolas Linne.
Another question, one row behind. Hello, Vincent. Karl-Heinz Rummenigge said that the club talked to Pep Guardiola about you, and he was really supportive. Did you talk about Bayern Munich with Pep as well? And all, is there a similarity between your philosophy of play between Pep and you? I wouldn't compare the two of. I have a great. Pep Guardiola was great to me. It was great and very important in my career. And very supportive. And I did talk with Uli Hoeneß and Karl-Heinz Rummenigge. And that I'm also the decision of those two, not only from Christoph Freund and Max Eberl, but they do support me as well in this club. And for me, it's not that important
dass jetzt alle überzeugt sein vorher.
I don't want them to be. They want to be 100% behind me, of course. But in the beginning, everybody should be positive. Und
auch mit meiner Arbeit auch ganz zufrieden werden.
And I hope they will be that they will be. As I said, my German is not that good.
Feeling like
so
I'm representing the club with my work.
I'll try to represent the.
Dann hier auf der rechten Seite bitte. Kurzes Handzeichen, ja? Yes, please.
Dag Vince, Quinte van 11 Zone Belgium. I'm going to ask you in English, of course. Two questions. First of all, you are already at a European top club. Does this step come earlier for you than you would have thought, than you would have expected? And secondly, well, we've got again a Belgian trainer at a European top club. Does this represent something more to you as a Belgian coach, maybe as kind of a pioneer for our country?
Yeah. My mentality is I never didn't work for a top club in my head. You know, a top club is the environment you create every day. Is the work you do with the players, the work you do with your staff. It's the mentality you have towards your job. In good times, bad times, that's what defines, for me, working at a top level. So to be here, and that's why I said it before, feels already like home. If I'm honest, I feel that I'm in a place where I can continue this idea. And then the side about, obviously me being Belgium, I know we're a smaller country, and I know this is, I hope that it will make a lot of coaches and young people in Belgium believe that they can achieve as well something special. But as well, in my idea, having the job is not an achievement. Achieving is being successful with the job, and this is still to happen.
Ganz links oben Felix Roderer.
Another question.
Hallo Vincent, willkommen in München.
Hello, Vincent. Welcome to Munich. It was a long decision-making process. A lot of names involved. Have you thought from the beginning that you're part of this? And what does Vincent Kompany have what the others don't?
So, look, from my side, I didn't think about it too much. You know, I mean, you have to understand one thing is, being a coach, it consumes every minute of every day. So whilst I was being a coach, whilst I was doing my job, I didn't have any time to think about anything else. You know, when Max and Christoph called and eventually we spoke and met, I didn't have a plan in my head to do anything. I was just doing my job. And at the very end, just so you understand a little bit how I am as well, is at the very end you mentioned one club, but I'm a very private person, very, very private person, and I was actually quite fortunate to have a lot of interest from other clubs as well. But I never went looking for anything. I was not interested in anything. I was happy to meet people and I met good people, and that was my decision. It was, okay, I feel like the players, the people inside the club, when we speak about football, we see the same thing, we understand the same thing, also the values, what we believe in. And then I felt like, okay, I have to do this, but I wasn't thinking too much about, I have to go there, or I have to go this. There was nothing like this. Yeah.
Was hat Vincent, warum den Ausschlag gegeben?
What does he have?
Einfach alles hat, bis
Well,
auf die Erfahrung.
he has everything, just doesn't have the, he hasn't been a good coach for a long time. But his worked really intensively, and he worked and was a player at Manchester City, one of the biggest teams in the world. So that is important for us. The way and the style of play, and how he wants to develop his idea, and that really suits Bayern Munich. We want to keep the ball. We want to be the ones who dictate the game, and that's what it has been part of his career as a coach. That's part of his DNA and the Bayern Munich DNA. He hasn't got the greatest of experience as a coach on the highest level, but after the talks we had with him, Christoph and I were a bit disappointed in ourselves that we didn't talk to him earlier because of all the last couple of months what happened. And now we have a coach who we want to be successful with, and we want to do those steps together.
Plettenberg für Sky, bitte.
Drei kurze Fragen an jeden.
Three short questions for everyone. So Vincent, welcome to Munich. Who are the most important players for you? Max, can you please describe how did you come up with the coach of Kompany? Did you watch games? How was the Kompany scouting? How did it work out? And Mr. Driesen, how is the point of view from Uli Hoeneß and Karl-Heinz Rummenigge and the decision-making process?
Yeah, look, from my side, I think it's too early to discuss any individuals in the team right now. I'm excited to work with literally every player, and but also, I'm excited to find out still how hungry every player is. I think we're in a situation now where last year we lost, and for having been in this position myself as well as a player, I know that this is when you react. This is when you see real winners come to life. So I'm actually excited to start preseason with them, and I make no distinction. I just want to see which player is most hungry to represent this club next season and win again and be successful.
Der Prozess mit Vinny.
Well, the process about Vinny, Winnie has been on the list, part of this list since the beginning, and we both were at teams before where coaches could have been stolen by other teams. So you don't only do a player scouting, but also a coach scouting, and how new coaches develop, and how do they proceed, how do they react as a coach. And back then it was the youngest team in Europe, and he really played attractive, intensive football. And then you kind of notice that. And then you have a young coach who plays that way. And then he decided to move to the Champions League team. The Championships team, they were... And it's a different work there in the Championship. You have to be a manager, and you have to build a team to start a project. And Burnley had the idea to receive the Champions League. No, not the Champions League, but to reach the Premier League, to get promoted. And then it worked out in the first year, and they had 101 points in the Championship. That was a record season. And then you get into the Premier League, and then he still played his style of football. He did learn a few things and he adapted. And that's how we came up with the idea, and we watched him closely. And the most important part of our decision-making is, okay, he tried not to get relegated in the Premier League with Burnley, but we should have done this talk right away in the beginning. Then we could have ended the decision-making process quite early. I've not worked on this level as a Champions League winner, so now we work together. Now we go down this path together. And Michael Diederich and Uli and Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, those are people are really important to us, who give us ideas and opinions. And of course, experience. Yes, you need experience, but you have to start at some point. It's not necessary to be like first, second, third, or whatever. And nobody else knows what we thought, our process. But a lot has been interpreted in this decision-making process. I just can mention that when we talk about coaches, for example, Vincent, there was always one decision. There was nobody against him. One was more critical, maybe. There was nothing against a coach or the possible coach. So, out to the outside, it might be a bit different and might have a different impact, and people think we're not on the same level. There was a good decision-making process, and of course we did have some problems. Let's put it this way. But right now, I'm 100% sure that we found the right coach for the next couple of years. Now I can say exactly what Max said. That. I just want to introduce myself, say a couple of things. Not only about decision-making process of finding coach, we're one club with a lot of personalities, with a lot of experience, with a lot of competences. So they were all part of the process of what Bayern Munich is. And whoever is involved, and if we're not clever if we don't use these experiences and to talk about things, and to every discussion, it's part of a process that not everybody says, yeah, great, that's great. And this might have an impact from the outside that we're not on the same level. But that's our strength, to have different approaches from all different angles. And Max already said that. I can't think of a coach who were part of this process and we talked about. And some of them said, "Oh, well, I'm not going to be Bayern coach," although we didn't talk to them at all. So there was no one, not any partner of us, whether it was Uli or Karl-Heinz, who were not supportive. But it's important not to sing the same song right away, just to discuss the situation. And we wanted to have an ending which is positive, which will be in 3 years. We are supporting him, and hopefully it will go on even further.
Stefan Kumberger für Sport 1, bitte.
Ja, hallo in die Runde.
Hello. A question for Mr. Kompany. How do you see your personality yourself? How could you describe that? And there has been a lot going on aside from football. And what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks when it comes to the squad?
Willst du mal die erste sein?
Do you want to be the first one?
Okay. No, so from my side, I'm eternally motivated. I wake up from the morning to the evening with pure motivation, pure intention always to make people around me better, improve players, improve staff, improve anyone I can meet and have a discussion with. I'm not defined by the successful years in my life. I'm defined by the moments where I had tough times from since I was young. and it's in my family, it's in my nature to always, work hard and keep going and take people with me on the journey. I don't want to be successful on my own. I want to be successful with as many people as I can over the finishing line. That's my nature. And coming to Bayern Munich, it's a massive club, but I think the mistake would be from me to start looking at people any differently. We're all human beings. We have high standards. We want to be the best at what we do. We all grew up with different stories. But at the end, what I would love to do is not just have the best players, but also have the best team. And that's exciting for me. And for that, sometimes I will have to not listen too much to the outside noise. I know how to live in that space. And it will be important to create this feeling inside the building. That's what my personality sort of drives towards.
Ich mache kurz.
Yeah, cool.
I'll give it a short answer.
Also natürlich ist Vinny in Kaderplan.
Of course, he's involved when it comes to the squad plans. We did talk about our squad intensively, talk about players.
Jede Medaille zwei Seiten. Die eine Seite war
every medal has two sides. A lot of has been focused on the decision-making process of the coach and finding a great coach. We did work on the squad as well with an idea who is part of this process. And what we thought would be a good choice, we found out that it has been the case with Vinny. And sometimes you talk about radical development. It's really crass way to say that. There's no list of players who want to get rid of. No, there might be players who have a bit of a more problem to, and you have to talk about that. You talk about absolute professional level. And when it comes to squad, we did have a good process.
Letzte Reihe bitte. Yes.
Vincent, goedemiddag. Maarten Brix hier van VTM Nieuws. First of all, how did your family, your kids react to moving over here to Germany, to Bayern? And secondly, you talk about the win-after-win culture over here that you're used to from your former clubs. But the extreme outside pressure from media, the paparazzi, how will you cope with that?
So, no, my family was happy. The first move when we went from Manchester to Brussels was sort of a first test of how you feel going to another country for them, not for me, but it was for them, and they adapted very well. We had some really good moments. So I think going to Munich was for them something they were looking forward to because the experience was so positive in Brussels for us. And that being said, now the outside pressure, everybody has their own ways of dealing with it. For me, it's never affected me. Those who followed me from since I was 17 years old as a player, in my interviews, in everything I said, they will know exactly this. I respect that I have to communicate in some way because it makes my job easier if I do the press conference as well. I respect that people will have an opinion, and sometimes it's 10,000 people, sometimes it's 10 million people. But in my way of seeing my job, the things I control are the players. The things I control is the job that we do at the club every single day, together with Max, together with Christoph, together with so many people. And I know that if there we are the best, then the outside world will follow one way or another. The question about pressure, you're going to ask me maybe another 10,000 times before now and the start of the season. If we have that many press conferences, but it's going to be the same answer. I have a different way of dealing with it. It's not part of my life.
Auf der rechten Seite, Alexis Menüsch, bitte.
Bonjour Vincent et bienvenue à Munich, ici.
Bonjour. Bonjour.
Morgen, in einem Jahr, findet hier in diesem Stadion...
Tomorrow there will be the Champions League final. Why do you... Your French accent is really good.
It's super.
Great.
Deutschunterricht braucht, gerne.
If you need lessons in German, no problem.
In einem Jahr, morgen,
So,
31. Mai 2025.
tomorrow, next year, there will be final of the Champions League. Is that your main
Zweite Frage.
goal?
Ist dir bewusst, dass der Kader schon eine
And
große
are you
braucht in diesem Sommer?
sure, or do you know that the squad needs a new refresh?
Das werden wir
And use the restart. What the squad needs, that's what we're going to talk about that internally.
Und
And
aber das Ziel
the goal
ist für mich
for me
auch ganz einfach.
is quite simple as well.
Ich versuche immer, jeden Spiel zu gewinnen.
I try to win every game.
Eigentlich egal,
And it doesn't matter
wo du bist und
where you are,
das muss für mich immer vorne stehen.
that's my main goal, that we want to win every game. That the final is in Munich next year,
Vielleicht diese Champions League ein bisschen wichtiger machen.
that the Champions League is becoming more important, of course, could be the case.
Nicht erreichen, weil wir das nur aussprechen.
We don't reach that by just talking about it. We have to work.
Im Training davor.
We have to train hard and to do and develop in every game. And our level has to be the highest possible.
Immer die höchsten Ziele haben, aber
We always have the highest goals, but to talk about that or to say that doesn't change what we do on the pitch.
Melde ich zu den letzten Fragen, bitte.
So the last couple of questions.
Kurzes Handzeichen, ja.
Servus, Herr Kompany.
Hello, Mr. Kompany.
Leroy Sane schon.
You know Leroy Sane from the time when you played in Manchester City. How did you follow him? And did you talk to him already?
Look, when you're a coach, when I was in the Championship, the only teams I watched was Championship football. When I was in the Premier League, the only thing I watched was Premier League football. And then in Belgium, Jupiler Pro League, you almost don't have time to focus on other teams, other leagues. And but I've watched many games back from last season. And of course, we had an unbelievable time together at Man City. It was an incredible time. But my priority now is, you know, when I was at Man City, I was a little bit more than a captain as well. You know, I would have been not too different than what he's going to see with me when we meet again now. And I'm looking forward to try and get the best out of him, just like out of everyone, because it's a talented team and he's a talented player. But to make it really simple, I have the feeling that my job is to try and get the best out of Leroy Sane, the best out of every player that we have in Bayern Munich, and in that I will make no distinction.
Eine Reihe dahinter, bitte, ja.
Ludwig Haas von 95.5 Charivari. Herr Kompany, erstmal herzlich willkommen in München.
Welcome,
Sie
Mr. Kompany.
hatten ja jetzt bei Ihren anderen beiden Vereinen eine klare Spielidee, die erkennbar war. Wir haben ja gestern im ersten Video des FC Bayern schon darüber gesprochen. Kommen jetzt zu einem Club, der deutlich größer ist, Stars hat, vielleicht auch mehr Möglichkeiten auf dem Platz. Was glauben Sie, wie sich Ihre Spielidee jetzt auf den Kader des FC Bayern übersetzt? Und wie flexibel müssen Sie da jetzt sein? Oder
and how flexible do you have to be and have to change a few things?
No, I mean, it's, you know, I think the question is more. So my experience since I stopped playing, of course, I went to Belgium, and then it's like, do you have to adapt your way of playing? Then I went to the Championship, which is another league. Do you have to adapt your way of playing? Then the Premier League, do you have to adapt your way of playing? In the Championship, we were the big team. In the Premier League, we were one of the smallest teams. In Belgium, we were the youngest team, and so on and so on. So I think in the end, most of the things that I will bring are things that you bring to help the players, no matter what the level is. You know, you do what you do to help the players, to make them better, to win more games. And for that, you need clarity. So of course, I have a clear idea, and I will also follow this idea. But in the end, everything you do with your idea is to help the players, wherever you are, in any division, at any level. So I will do this as well for the players in this team.
Dann haben wir noch 3 Fragen, bitte.
Three more questions.
Fischer für die Süddeutsche Zeitung, hier rechts.
Ja, noch eine Nachfrage an Herrn Eberl.
One more question to Mr. Eberl. It is important so that Bayern Munich has the ball And how important was that for you when you were searching for a manager or a coach? For example, you talked to Mr. Rangit, where there was a different exit. That could be your point of view. We want to be dominant as a team, and dominance you can have against the ball as well. And how do you step back in on the pitch? The modern ways of playing football, every coach has some possibilities. You have Pep Guardiola and Jürgen Klopp. They were quite extremely, had a different approach to the game, but that developed. So to adapt to the modern way of play in the football. So what is the main part? Where's the focus? And we want to find a coach who has got new ideas, new energy to put something new on the pitch. And whoever we talk to, or what has been said or not, I don't care. We have the right coach now, and that's the most important thing to me.
Another colleague from Belgium, yeah?
Perfection van Sportza, VRT Nieuws.
Hello.
How surprised were you getting a photo from Bayern Munich, especially at this moment after, we can say, a difficult year at Burnley? And what's the most important thing you learned this season at Burnley that you can take into your job here at Bayern?
No, I think the aspect of being surprised is because you assume that it was the only club that called. And you assume that it was the only interest I had. And you only assume that because I'm very private. That's the only reason. So by that time, I was not surprised. Maybe the first phone call, but it wasn't Bayern Munich. But my point as well is, I live my job honestly too intense to speculate too much or to make any distinctions whatsoever. The opportunity was there to work with great people. That's why I signed. I was convincing Christophe, I was convinced in Max, the idea that they had for the future. And then later I was convinced by everybody else around that I met as well, that they are going in the same direction. And for me, I know that no matter which club you're at, but especially top clubs like Bayern Munich, you have to be internally on the same line. Whether the outside world thinks that you are or not is actually not important. It's inside the building. You have to have that feeling, and so I felt that, and so that was why the opportunity was so interesting. And then on the other side, what you learn is you learn a lot by yourself. So the first year, and it's the only thing I want to say about it. The first year you have 46 games. I think out of the 46, we only lost 3 games, 101 points. The highest of the highest that the club has ever achieved in terms of points return. And then the next year, you have a tough season in the Premier League, with, of course, from the start of the season, we knew that we were in the bottom 3 in terms of budget, but it doesn't matter. The feeling is always that you can, like I said, go to the Champions League. That's the feeling at every start of the season. But what you learn about yourself in the very highs and the very lows is that you can be consistent. I wasn't any different when we were champion 2 months before the end of the season. I didn't prepare training any differently. I didn't approach players differently. I didn't work less to prepare games. And when we were struggling and losing, I didn't start the Monday of the week, the first day of the week, complaining about my players. They're not good enough. They're not scoring. I didn't. I stayed calm. I supported my players. I supported the staff. We stayed calm. The building was extremely motivated. The energy was there until the last training of the season. But to put yourself in those two extremes, it's not easy to be consistent like this. And then we talk about, again, now this club and this journey. I have no intention to all of a sudden become a different person. And I don't think that's what they want. And yeah, I'm looking forward to bring this as well to this club.
And the last one, third row. Yes, please.
Hi, Vincent. Jonas van het Nieuwsblad.
Yeah.
I wonder how many days a year you're not working, and if you will take some time off the next days or the next.
I promise you, the next 4 days I'm not working. So I yeah, but already I said 2 weeks ago that the next 2 weeks I'm not working. So because we were making the deal with Bayern, I've already took 10 days out of this. So, but I promise the next 4 days I will rest, and then. But after that as well, like I said, doing my job for me, I love it. It's work, but it's not work. You know, it's also for me. I don't have a real lifestyle outside of this. My lifestyle is this job that I love, and I'm all in. So yeah, it can't come soon enough.
Ein gutes Schlusswort. Vielen Dank. Danke.
Good ending. Thank you very much. Good impressions. And now a final picture together.
Wenn wir kurz aufstehen, bitte.
Okay, vielen Dank.